I'm very pleased to be able to speak to Mr. Ly Xuan Hai, the Chief Executive Officer of Asia Commercial Bank, the fifth largest commercial bank in Vietnam, a privately owned institution and a very competitive one in the very turbulent Vietnamese marketplace. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Hai.
Yeah.
Give us a sense of how difficult it is to run a banking business in Vietnam today.
Vietnamese market, it's very young market, and it's an easy and difficult. Easy because of everything is very fast growing, and when you are fast growing, you can come over with the problems in the market.
Right.
When the growth of the market is around 20-25%, you can grow 40-45%, and then it's easy. Easy because of everything is small, and the market is small, and the institution, including the banks, is small. And because of that, the risk can be easy to manage when you can see everything. But difficult because of the market is not perfect. The competitiveness of the banks is not enough high. The environment, business environment is not enough perfect from legal perspective, from the liquidity perspective of the market, from the products perspectives. And of course, the instruments of the market is not enough relevant in many times because of the government like and used to use the more administrative instruments rather than market-driven instruments. Because of that, we are facing with a lot of problems. But in parallel of that, a lot of opportunities.
But how do you manage to generate growth in a country where inflation is almost uncontrollable at this point in time?
Yes, we are facing with the inflation problems in the last 2-3 years. And it was very hard, difficult for the whole country and for the economy, and of course it very sharply and heavily impact on the financial sector. And in our bank, based on this situation, we built our growth based on the 5 pillars of our strategy in the very difficult period today. We based on the very strong and effective and serious heavy building risk management system. We based on the fast growth because of when the growth can be sustainable if it will be supported by the strong risk management system. We based on, and second, third one is the third pillar of our strategy for the last few years is we try to be more profitable. Profitability here is not just for the high dividend or the high shares price for shareholders, but firstly, when you are high profitable bank, we can come over with the crash in the market if it will happen because of profitability. It is the added value. It is the engine, the power of the company come over with the difficulties.
So in order to keep to that focus on profitability,
profitability it is just one point. We try to keep all the financial ratios of the bank in the high quality and the very strong ratio. Liquidity ratio, we are lending just 40% of total assets. 50-60% rest it is for our liquidity purpose.
So it must be profitable, it must be safe, it must
safe
be
and sustainability. Yeah, it is a support. And both of them based on the rest point, pillars of our strategy, it is the human stuff. Because we can have very good machine, but without the people who can manage it, it's nothing. And the fifth one is, of course, the culture, business culture. It is very specific, and I think the main thing what can differentiate ACB with another bank in Vietnam. We have very healthy and internally in the bank relation between the people, between the departments, divisions, and the healthy culture, business culture in our business.
Now, ACB is not the largest bank in Vietnam, and the large state-owned banks are huge relative to a bank like ACB. Do you see that you have disadvantages, like your cost structure may be higher, your customer base is smaller or more focused? Is that good or bad?
Bad because of course when you are small, the cost of fund will be higher. The risk comparable with the size of the business could be higher, bigger, etc. But in parallel of that, we can see the advantage. When you are small, you are hidden. Nobody, pay attention to you.
So you're below the radar screen.
And you can become very flexible. You can navigate between the problems of the country.
So how do you define your customer base? Which part of the country of Vietnam is your customer base mostly centered around?
Our strategic segmentation of customer is individuals and SMEs. In different with the state-owned bank, they focus on the big corporations, and it is our advantage because of when we are lending to the SMEs and individuals. Usually, the margin could be higher rather than to the corporation. And for the last 17 years of our history, we try to accumulate and strengthen our position, strengthen our position in the market and positioning in the market in comparable with another banks. And I think the last 17 years, it is the time when we become from a very small private bank, become a comparable big bank with another state-owned bank in Vietnam. 10 years ago, the size of our bank is just 1/15, 1/20th of the state-owned bank. Today, we are 2/3 of them already. And of course, situation is changed. And today, competition could be different, not just because of the size of our bank is bigger, but comparable size between ACB in another bank could be, different. And we are not hidden anymore. Today, we are facing with the direct competition with the state-owned bank.
As a listed bank, do you have plans to attract foreign investment into your institution?
ACB all the time is one of the very the bank what foreign investors pay a lot of attention, and based on existing regulations of Vietnam, the cap for foreign investment is 30% is full in our bank. But we try to make the bank more attractive for potential investor in the future when the legal framework will be changed.
Let's go back to this question of SME as a customer segment. Give us a sense of the SME customer in Vietnam. What is the profile of this customer? How large do they tend to be? And how many of those customers do you lead from being a small business to perhaps being listed themselves? And is the prospect of becoming a listed company very easy in a country like Vietnam?
If we look at the history of ACB and history of our customers, you can see very clearly that our strategic customers, they are usually, it is individuals. But and the business started from the family business, a kind of microfinance, and this business developed and become
large
and maybe small and medium size of business. And a lot of, in parallel with the growth of ACB, a lot of our customers today, they are become very large customers in the country, and few of them are listed, become a public company, and we are. I think the growth of ACB, it is the growth together with our customers. And behind the size of business, behind the size of the banking service and products what they are using in
So what
ACB.
you're saying is that the average profile of an SME in Vietnam is that they almost start at a microfinance level.
Yes, mostly from a family business, microfinance level.
And what sort of time frame it takes for your best customers to become large?
Usually company become large, they spend from 7 to 10 years when the size of business is become comparable with the market. Yeah.
And how big is your corporate finance business and your ability to help your small businesses to become listed?
The trade finance is one of the main business where we can the bank can make a lot of we can have a lot of fee income of the bank. And
so trade finance is where
trade
the
finance,
fee.
yeah.
But what about corporate finance?
Corporate finance is and when the company come to you, the requirements in capital, not just in the working capital and not just in the project appraisal, but they require advice. They need a lot of financial service from the bank.